Welcome! Now that you've learned how to create a collection in ePortfolio, this video will cover how to create a new presentation in ePortfolio. So we've created a collection and we can see that the collection organization is a little bit simple. It's essentially just files arranged in a table and then with links so that you can view individual items, but it's a rather simple, bare bones kind of presentation. ePortfolio also offers a more aesthetically engaging option for displaying items in a portfolio known as presentations, which is essentially a website where students can display their work to reviewers or to instructors who are viewing their work. So next we're going to practice creating a new presentation or a new presentation site in ePortfolio. To do that, if you're on the My Items tab in ePortfolio, you can just click on the New Presentation button. And that will bring you to a page where you can name your new presentation, add a description of the contents that you plan to include in that presentation, and then you can add tags, just like any other object in ePortfolio. So I added the tags education and instructional materials. On the Properties tab of New Presentation, this is also where you can set up permissions regarding comments and assessments. So you can allow others to add or view comments, or to add or view assessments if they have sufficient permission. And you can also associate a rubric that you have in D2L with a particular presentation. When you're creating a new presentation, the Content Layout tab is going to be a very significant part of setting up your site. So if you go to the Content Layout tab, we can click on View Presentation at the top and just take a look at what we have so far. So if you click on View Presentation, you can see a new window that opens up showing essentially your presentation website. And right now it's very plain and boring because we have not really added anything yet. So the Content Layout tab is where we're going to start adding content and adding new pages to this website. So if you look at the Content Layout tab under Pages, you have a couple of options here. The little page icon will allow you to create a new page. So essentially a new page on your website. So let's go ahead and do that. Click New Page. And most portfolio websites tend to start out with a About Me or a summary kind of page. So let's add that first of all. So I'm going to add an About Me page. You also have some other options if you don't want to show the page name at the top of this page or show it in the navigation panel of your website. Those are options. In this case, we want to show this page to show in the navigation though. So click Save. Now, if you want to change the page order, because you can see the About Me page is now below this new page, you can click on these two arrows to reorder pages. So we're going to do that. And you simply click the drop-down buttons under Sort Order, and you can change the numeric order that they're going to appear in from top to bottom. So by setting it to 1, About Me is going to appear first in the navigation. Okay, so once we've done that, we'll return to the Content Layout tab, and then we can start adding content into our pages of our website. So we'll start with the About Me page and click Add Component. And you have a number of different options of things you can add to any page in your presentation site. So you can add an artifact or a file. You can add a reflection. You can add just a text area where you can include some text. And then you can also include information from my profile. So let's start off by adding a text area because oftentimes a portfolio website will have some kind of introductory material or introduction to the work that's being presented. So let's add a text area. And let's just call this the welcome area. And then, in the content page, you can add whatever you want, whatever text you want to display on your site. Click Save. Save and close. And if we go back to view presentation, we'll see that there is now a new text area added to the About Me page. Well, we also now have 2 pages here in the navigation on the sidebar. So we have an About Me page, and then we have a new page, which we're going to edit in just a minute. We have a welcome statement. We can also add some additional components to our About Me page. Say, for instance, we want to include some information from our profile. You can actually import information from your D2L profile into your presentation site. So you do have some options in terms of how you want that to display. If you click on the drop-down arrow next to My Profile Information, click Edit Display Options. You can change what it shows from your profile. So perhaps if you don't want it to show your organizational ID or your phone number, you may uncheck that. You have the option to include social media links if you have put those in your D2L profile. So if you want a link to your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you can include those. It's optional though. I do have a LinkedIn link, I believe, in my profile, so I'm going to include that. And then probably more personal information like birthday you might not want to include. But it can also grab the picture that you have set as your D2L profile picture to include in the About Me. So I will include that. So we'll click Save. And let's take a look at what that looks like. We come back to the Content Layout tab and then click View Presentation. And you can see it now has my picture. It has a link to my LinkedIn, my email, and some basic contact information that you can access there. So now let's edit that new page as a content page. Let's just assume that we want this page to include some of the content or items that we want to display from our portfolio. So first of all, let's name it something other than new page. So if you click the drop down arrow next to new page and page properties, we can name this, say, my work. And you'll also see there is a URL here where you can directly link to this page. So once we change the page name, let's start adding some content. Click Add Component. And let's add some learning objects. So let's say we'll add an artifact. And let's add some of the files that we uploaded earlier. So if I want to display one of those PowerPoints that I uploaded, my competency results, my grade results, say another PowerPoint, and let's just add all of that. You can add them in bulk. And then from this page, you can also decide whether you want a reviewer or someone you've shared this site with to be able to comment on individual items. So I'm going to enable comments. And let's take a look at what that looks like now. So if we view presentation, we start off on About Me, navigate to my work. We can see each of those individual artifacts that I've added in, and then the option to add a comment. So visually, the site is still a little bit lacking, and we can change that using, first of all, the banner tab up at the top. We can change the banner or the text that appears on every page of the presentation site here. So let's call this my portfolio. And that text will display on top of every page. So you see my portfolio on the About Me page. You see my portfolio on the My Work page. Some other options we have, we can change the layout. If we go back to the Content Layout page, there's the option to edit the page layout. You have 2 different options. You can either have 2 content areas or 1 content area, depending on your preference. I'm just going to leave it as 2 content areas for now. And then the Theme tab will also allow you to change the theme to a number of different preset layouts. So on this page, you can scroll down and you'll see a thumbnail with a preview of each theme. And then you can also click Select to try that out. So let's try, let's say Immersed. So you just click Select, click Set Theme. And then you can view your presentation and see how that looks. So you have a number of different display options for how you want your site to look. So there you have it. You just made a basic presentation in ePortfolio. So you're now well on your way to designing a portfolio website where you can display your work from NSCC. So feel free to customize your site as much as you wish by adding more pages, content areas, or files. And then you can share that completed presentation with reviewers in your course, your program, or your department. You can even grab a link to share that with members outside of NSCC. Information on how to do that can be found in the next video, which will cover sharing your ePortfolio. As always, feel free to contact the Office of Online Learning at Nashville State Community College if you have any further questions.